Thank you. The next explanation will be together with me, Ananda Dewi Lestari. After we have known about imitative, now let's move to the intensive writing. Intensive writing is more concerned about selecting the appropriate word for a given context. This intensive writing typically appears in controlled, written grammar exercises. This type of writing does not allow much creativity on the part of the students. Intensive writing is more focused on the grammatical, sentence structure, or vocabulary of the writing itself. Okay, well, we have known about the definition of intensive writing. Now, let's move together to the kinds of activity in the intensive writing. The first activity is dictation and dictocom. What is dictation and dictocom? This technique is a variation on the dictation procedure. The teacher reads a short paragraph several times. The students listen carefully each time the paragraph is read. The paragraph may utilize vocabulary and structures studied in the course. After the teacher has finished reading the paragraph for the last time, the students should write it as they remember it, saying as close as possible to the original sequence of events. The students should not write while the teacher is reading the paragraph. They may write only after the complete paragraph has been read and understood. In this case, the student should remember exactly. This is a traditional dictation exercise, but to the extent that they have to fill in the memory gaps, making sense contextually, this is a pragmatic composition exercise. For this kind of activity, the emphasis should be on structural correctness of meaning at the lexical, syntactic, and discourse level. Okay, the second activity is grammatical transformation task. In grammar, a transformation is a type of syntactic rule or convention that can move an element from one position to another in a sentence. The transformation of a sentence is all about changing its form without altering its meaning. We can, for example, transform an exclamatory sentence into an assertive sentence. We can also transform simple sentences into a complex or compound sentence. The kinds of tasks in this activity like reordering, inserting, or deleting elements. The next kind of activity is picture cue tasks. Picture cue tasks are one of the ways to assess students' writing ability that use picture as a medium. It is called as picture cue tasks because those kinds of picture cue are integrated with some clues of questions. Writing skill itself, there are three kinds of picture cue tasks based on Brown. The first is short sentences, second is picture description, the third is picture sequence description. The picture cue sentence writing or short sentences. This picture that is shown in this task is a picture that draws a simple action. This task asks students to write a brief sentence based on the picture that they have seen. Next is picture cue story description. The picture that is used in this task may be more complex. The students asked to write a sentence that is more complex. For example, the sentence that students should write in this task such as a cat under the table, books and pencil on the table, or chairs around the table. In this task, the students are asked to describe the picture using a preposition. The last is picture cued story sequence. The picture shown in this text is a picture that describes a sequence of 3 to 6 pictures in a storyline. It means that among the pictures must be related each other. For example, teacher gives a picture sequence and a simple questions related to the picture. Then, the students are asked to write down the answer by paying attention to the grammatical features. The other kinds of activity is vocabulary assessment tasks. Vocabulary assessment seems straightforward in the sense that word lists are readily available to provide a basis for selecting a set of words to be tested. In addition, there is a range of well-known item types that are convenient to use for vocabulary testing. Often vocabulary is assessed at the end of a unit using a multiple choice task, or fill in the blank task, or matching task. Next is ordering tasks. In the ordering task, test takers are asked to put the scrambled words, sentences, paragraphs, or text into correct order. The kinds of activity of this ordering tasks can be the teacher give an error sentences, then the student should rearrange the words to be a correct sentence. The last kind of activity is short answer and sentence completion tasks. In this type, the students need to read a passage and instead of answering questions, the students asked to complete sentences. Again, the instruction clearly mention how many words that the student can use. For example, use not more than 2 words. To the responsive and extensive writing. Responsive writing involves the development of sentences into paragraphs. The purpose depends almost exclusively on the context or function of writing. Form concerns are primarily at the discourse level, which means how the sentences work together to make paragraphs and how the paragraphs work to support a thesis statement. Normally, no more than 2 to 3 paragraphs at this level. For extensive writing is responsive writing over the course of an entire essay or research paper. The student is able to shape a purpose, objectives, main ideas, conclusions, and etc. into a coherent paper. Next is the kinds of activity in the responsive and extensive writing. The first activity is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing means formulating someone else's ideas in the student's own words. To paraphrase a source, the students have to rewrite a passage without changing the meaning of the original text. Paraphrasing is an alternative to quoting, where the student copies someone's exact words and put them in quotation marks. Second activity is guiding question and answer. The guiding and question are questions provided to students, either in writing or spoken verbally, while they are working on a task. Asking guiding questions allows students to move to higher levels of thinking by providing more open-ended support that calls students' attention to key details without being perspective. The third activity is paragraph construction tasks. A paragraph is composed of multiple sentences focused on a single, clearly defined topic. There should be exactly one main idea per paragraph, so whenever we move on the new idea, there should start a new paragraph. The kind of the task of this activity, it can be like the teacher give a paragraph and then the student should mention what is the topic of the sentence, or what are the topic of the sentence, what are the supporting detailed sentences, and what is the conclusion. The next activity is strategic option. In the strategic option, there are two types of tasks. The first task is attending to tasks. Attending to tasks is a set of directives is stated or implied by the teacher or the conventions of the genre. The four types of attending to tasks are compare and contrast, problem solution, pros, cons, and cause effect. The second types of strategic option is attending to genre. It's like reports, summaries of readings or lectures or videos, response to readings or lectures or videos, narration, description, persuasion or argument, and exposition, interpreting statistical, graphic data, and library research paper. The last activity is Test of Written English or TWE. TWE is a standardized test of writing ability and has gained a reputation as a well-respected measure of written English. The TWE is a timed impromptu test in which test takers are under a 30-minute time limit and are not able to prepare ahead of time. Well, after we have known about the definition and also the kinds of the activity in the responsive and extensive writing, now let's move to the scoring method for responsive and extensive writing. Here are three kinds of scoring methods: holistic scoring, primary trait scoring, and analytic scoring. The first is holistic scoring. Holistic scoring is a method by which trained readers evaluate a piece of writing for its overall quality. The holistic scoring used in Florida requires readers to evaluate the work as a whole, while considering four elements: focus, organization, support, and convention. For focus. Focus refers to how clearly the paper presents and maintains a main idea, theme, or unifying point. Organization. Organization refers to the structure or plan of development, such as from the beginning, middle, and end, and whether the points logically relate to one another. Support. Support refers to the quality of the details used to explain, clarify, or define. The last is conventions. Conventions refers to punctuation, capitalization, spelling, and variation in sentence used in the paper. The advantages of holistic scoring include fast evaluation, relatively high internet reliability, the fact that scores represent standards that are easily interpreted by lay persons, the fact that scores tend to emphasize the writer's strength, applicability to writing across many different disciplines. It is a disadvantages must also be weighed into a decision on whether to use holistic scoring. The first is one scores marks difference across the subscales within each score. No diagnostic information is available. The scale may not apply equally well to all genres of writing. Rates need to be extensively trained to use the scale accurately. The second method of scoring is primary trait scoring. The primary trait scoring focuses on how well students can write within a narrowly defined range of discourse. This type of scoring emphasizes the task at hand and assigns a score based on the effectiveness of the task achieving that one goal. In summary, a primary trade score would assess first the accuracy of the account of the original, the clarity of the steps of the procedure and the final result, the description of the main features of the paragraph, and the expression of the writer's opinion. The third is analytic scoring. Analytic scoring may be more appropriately called analytic assessment in order to capture its closer association with classroom language instruction than with formal testing. According to Brown, 1984, designed an analytical scoring scale that specified 5 major categories and a description of 5 different levels in each category, ranging from unacceptable to excellent. Here are the 5 categories. First, organization, include introduction, body, and conclusion. Second, logical development of ideas or content. Third, grammar. Fourth, punctuation, spelling, and mechanics. 5, style and quality of expression. Okay, that's all our presentation today. Thank you for your nice attention. We do apologize if we have so many mistakes. Well, have a nice day.